Hello everyone, welcome back to another light novel review. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. I'm back today with my first light novel review in a long time. This one was foreshadowed back in the One Piece Volume 2 review, where at the end I said that would be my next video, and it was not my next video. Fun fact, it was not. I'm recording this, I'm not going to say the day. It's currently halftime in a Utah Jazz game, so I'm getting this done there so I can go back to watching the game after I finish recording. My last one was Arifureta Volume 11. That was back late July. I think it was the 28th maybe, but whatever. This is Shield Hero Volume 19. And what a volume, to say the least. What a volume. I can't hate Shield Hero. Right. A little bit of background. Shield Hero is the first ever light novel I ever bought, Shield Hero Volume 1. That was 4 years ago now, which is crazy. Almost to the day, actually. 4 years ago, almost to the day. Which is crazy to think about now, but it's entirely accurate. I love the series, right? I started reading the manga back however long ago, more than 4 years at this point. Bought the light novel. I remember back whenever the anime was coming out, I watched it in the back of Algebra 2 with my friend Luke. Whenever it was coming out, that was great. And then Season 2 obviously coming out recently and receiving less than critical acclaim. Obviously, I'm through 19 of the light novels. 17, 18, and 19 haven't been good. they haven't been good. I'd say 1 through 4 is the best stretch of Shield Hero. I don't think there are many people who disagree with me on that. 1 through 4 is the best writing, whatever. 5 through 9, pretty solid. I personally really enjoy the isekai arc. I think it's very fun. I think maybe some things should have been done differently, but as for a stretch itself, I think it's second best to 1 through 4. 10 through 12, solid again. I'd say maybe the writing itself was a bit better with some cases. Obviously, we got introduced to some characters that played a huge role, like Sedina, Atla, however you want to say it. Rat is the single most important character to ever exist in Shield Hero. So 10 through 12 is solid. I think 11 is the best book of them because we got introduced to Sign. I really like Sign. And I think Ren and his little Sword of Greed was very good. I think that was probably the most well done of all the hero weapons like that. Then we got 13 and 14. Katinlo, I didn't care for it. It has been a while since I've read those books. It's been a while since I've read all of this, other than 19. Katinlo was okay. And by okay, I mean I didn't really care for it. I think it had some pretty weak writing. And I hated how it started, where it was just Naofumi being like, I cannot wait to see my Tanuki bride in a traditional dress. And then that's what started it. It's just, oh my gosh. Didn't care for it. 15 was an awfully okay book up until the end, when I would say the end of 15 is up there a little bit below, if not equal to, the best writing in Shield Hero. Spoilers alert if you're watching a Volume 19 review and don't know what happens at the end of Volume 15. Atla's death was extremely well done. I think it showed a lot of Naofumi's character. I think it showed a lot of her character. I really appreciated Aneko Yusagi having the balls to kill off a character like Atla. I really enjoyed it. I think it was relatively well done. 16 was a good book because it followed off of that, and I guess Aneko Yusagi was in a good writing mood. I think Tact fell a bit flat for me, especially learning what we do later with Volume 18, how he's just one of many vanguards of the waves. I wish that a character that kills Atla and the Queen at the beginning of 16, I feel like maybe he should have been more unique or have stuck around for a little bit longer. But 16 was okay. I think the Queen's death was well done. I think Trash's redemption was well done. I think Naofumi being the staff hero for a bit was fun. 17, 18, and 19 have just kind of been ass. They've kind of sucked a little bit. I don't even remember much of 17. It's just, oh my gosh. I will say, so, big criticisms of the series. I don't care for the Vanguards. I really don't care for the Vanguards. Kyo, we got the most time with Kyo. And I still didn't care about him. They're just evil guys that are all this, and I know Naofumi points it out in the book, so it's like kind of like meta. But it doesn't change the fact that they're just like not super interesting, and it's like, okay, I guess Naofumi's just gonna kick someone else's ass now. It could be fun, but I think the writing itself suffers. Like, not like the story structure. I mean, story structure does suffer, but like the physical combination of words. Now, I don't know if I can blame that on Aneko Yusagi or on the translation team at One Piece Books. I don't know who to blame that on, but the actual writing itself hasn't been great. I feel like maybe not hasn't been great. It's been very plain, I feel. I'd say the Vanguards just aren't interesting. Obviously, at the end of this book, and I should note if you're this far into the video, this isn't really going to be reviewing a lot of... it's going to be a Volume 19 review. I'm going to talk about things that happen in it. Really, though, I'm going to be talking a lot about my problems with Shield Hero. My opinion on Shield Hero through the lens of Volume 19. I think Volume 19 was a great example of the lameness of the Vanguards of the Waves. We had, at least 3 or something, maybe more. I will say Sign's sister, whose name we have no clue what her name is, but it's fair, it's Naofumi, but Sign's sister, she became an interesting villain at the end of this book, with seeing her come up and help Sign out and then give some information to Naofumi. She became an interesting villain. She kind of redeemed herself a little bit in my eyes. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing her again. But she was very cookie cutter until then. Not as cookie cutter as the Vanguards, but maybe she should have had something to do with the Queen's death. I don't tact just because the thing that has happened, right, with the Vanguards is at this point you have so many different of them, and most of them aren't named, right? Which is fair. I understand, Naofumi's perspective, yada yada. He doesn't like naming people. He doesn't like knowing people's names. But also it's like it strips them of their individual. They're just grunts, and I know that's like the intent. They're like, oh, we're part of the Third Army. We're just the grunts. But you can make interesting villains, right? Because you have these Vanguards that are supposed to be like threats, right? Specifically looking in Volume 19, you have the Ofuda hero and the Harpoon hero, right? These I'm pretty sure the Ofuda hero was. I can't be 100%. Obviously, the Harpoon hero was. You have these two guys that are supposed to present a threat and are pretty strong. They give Naofumi and their party that stayed with him a good run for his money. They're very strong and very effective. They were stronger than grunts, right? Now, eventually we might get to the point where people of their strength are grunts whenever we get to the upper echelons of this God's army or whatever you want to call it. But whenever you make a character that's strong that I'm supposed to be concerned about killing or harming any of the main cast, it just doesn't work. And sure, they're strong, but they're fodder, right? They're fodder, but they're the same type of people as Kyo and Tact, and I think what was Soma from book 18. It diminishes Kyo and Tact, and they already weren't terribly interesting villains. They were just evil, and evil for the sake of evil is fine. I think that can be really fun. I just don't think it was done well, and I think the more we see, the more Vanguards we see, the more that it's like, okay, so Tact wasn't special, so then why did the Queen have to die? Why did Atla have to die? I'm just not a huge fan of it. I don't care for it. I think the Vanguards have become very cheap. I am looking forward to seeing Sign's sister again and learning more about her. I think that she had the minimal amount of characterization at the end of this book to make me interested in her. I hate how Bitch is still around. I think Bitch should be either in a different capacity or dead at this point. I hate how she is still treated as a threat. I don't consider that good writing. How she just always gets out of everything. It's like, oh, it's just so annoying. It's not satisfying. There's no satisfaction because it's like, well, obviously she's never going to die until, like, I assume the very end of the story. Naofumi probably kills her. It's like I don't want to see her anymore, right? She's had her time, right? She betrayed Naofumi, yada yada. We've been through that. Just let her go. You don't have to keep hanging on to her. And this is kind of bringing into my main problem with Shield Hero. Right? Vanguards is a more recent issue, especially with the past 3 books. I did like the reveal that they were from another world, that they're isekai, right? I did like that, but I still, they're just weak. They're just weak characters, and they're weak characterization, and they're just not really effective as villains because I don't care. Because I see a Vanguard and I'm like, oh, they're either going to get smashed or they're going to cause a little bit of trouble, and then we get their weapon. And that's all Vanguards are. And it sucks that Tact has been reduced to that. But my main problem with Shield Hero is the amount of characters. Right? Aneko Yusagi introduces like 2 new characters a book, and then like just expects people to remember them, and then does nothing with them. And then Flanderization. I will say Flanderization a million times. If you don't know what Flanderization is, I think it's named after Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. It's reducing a character to their most basic element. Oh my gosh, every single character after the book they're introduced is Flanderized to hell and back. Now, Fumi, it is the saddest to see with Naofumi and Raphtalia. I would say it's sadder with Raphtalia, because with Naofumi, because we get it from his perspective, every once in a while he peeks through the Flanderization. Every once in a while he peeks through, and we can see him. I think he peeked through a bit at the end of 19. That's part of the reason why I enjoyed the end of 19. I think we got to see Naofumi we got to see Naofumi again. It's the most sad with Raphtalia because we just don't see her anymore. She's just been reduced to, oh man, Naofumi's getting up to antics again. I'm mad at this. And oh no, I totally don't love Naofumi Baka. It's not interesting. Raphtalia was such a more interesting and complex character early on. And she's been Flanderized because you have, I counted specifically at one point whenever they went to the Demon Dragon's castle, 11 characters. You cannot, I will say, there are some authors that could. Aneko Yusagi cannot handle 11 characters at the same. Most authors can't. There's nothing against her. I say her. We don't know Aneko Yusagi. I use her. Whatever. Nothing against her. It'd be an amazing feat to be able to properly manage 11 characters. Just don't do it. Just don't have 11 characters go. They're going through this, and then I see Ethnobalt's name pop up. I'm like, Ethnobalt was here? Yeah, apparently he's been here the entire time. And Sign, she did nothing. She did nothing for that original point. And it's just like, well, what's the point? Right? You're bringing along all these characters. They've been Flanderized to hell and back. And you keep introducing more. You keep introducing more characters. Like this book, we got the Demon Dragon last book, and I think her characterization was fun this book. I expected, or not her character. I think her characterization was fun this book. I expect her to be Flanderized next book. Really, I do. And then not Lino or something. The chick we met at the end. I read it last night. She was interesting, I guess. I just can't wait to never see her again. And now if it was like, you're part of my party now, I don't know. I guess we'll see how long that lasts. Maybe because she was introduced at the end of this book, she'll still be a pretty good character during next one. I don't know. I think so many characters are so weak because they've been Flanderized to hell and back. I think one of the biggest examples is Therese. I mean, she was never the most complex character, but she was more than seeing Naofumi going, oh, Master Craftsman, I love your accessories so much, and Lark being like, uh-oh, the kiddo's cucking me. Like, oh my gosh, that Lark was a better character than that. Therese was never a complex character, but she was at least a good character, right? You could be reading this and you could not care, right? If you're in it for the funny hijinks, cool. I bet you're still loving it. I read a lot of media for the characters. That's probably the main thing that I focus on whenever I read a story is the characters. And so it hurts to see these characters that have a lot of potential treated like that. And that's why I'd say Atla is probably one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character, because she died after 4 books. So she couldn't get Flanderized. It was kind of starting, but she was a pretty solid character through to her death. I think we saw. Atlo was good, and that's because she died. I think the queen maybe got a bit one-dimensional before she died, but I think character death is a great tool that authors can use, and I think that the 2 times it was executed, Ost, if you want to, I guess, if you want to count Ost, but the 2 times it was utilized, I think it was utilized really well. Aneko Yusagi is clearly talented. Right, she wrote the first 4 books. She wrote the ending to 15. She's clearly talented. She can clearly write good characters and good plots and a good story. So why isn't she? Why did the last 3 books suck? I don't get it. I'm frustrated with Shield Hero. I was reading through 9. It took me a long time to get through this book because I started it and then I'd stop and I'd lose motivation to read it. What eventually got me through was the fact that I'm reading The Eminence in Shadow next, volumes 3 and 4, and I really want to read The Eminence in Shadow because I love The Eminence in Shadow. Check out The Eminence in Shadow if you haven't. It's a great one. If you've liked my opinions so far on everything. That's what finally got me through the book. I did not care for the majority of the book. I mean, the action at the end was engaging enough. I just didn't care about any of the villains. I was like, oh, Wafuda Hero and Harpoon Hero can't wait for Sedina and Shieldina to get those weapons, right? And Shieldina, I mean, she's going to get the Wafuda weapons because of the art and the cover. And I'm fine with stuff like that, spoiling stuff like that. But then you can't dedicate the last 150 pages to a fight scene where that's the climax. It's like, well, I already know what's going to happen, right? And I still think that you can have engaging. I think the writing for the action was relatively engaging. I think that it was more engaging than some of the dialogue and stuff written because character flanderization and all that. I just didn't care for the book. I mean, it was mid. It was mid to ass at best, right? But I like the ending. The final couple pages where you get Naofumi back, and he's using whatever and doing whatever. And then you get to see Sign's sister comes back, and she fixes Sign's weapon so Sign can talk, and she talks with Naofumi and gives him some exposition, and then Sign wakes up, and we get to see Naofumi's character peek out a little bit, and Sign's character develop. Wow, Sign doing something? Since when? Am I right? It's just, I liked the end. It's so frustrating. Even now, and it hasn't been a full day since I've read it, but even now, it's still really frustrating because, I can't hate Shield Hero, right? I get through this entire book. It's a slog at points. I'm like, I gotta read because I gotta get through because I gotta read The Eminence in Shadow. It's a slog at some points. I don't enjoy a vast majority of the book. I think it's poor writing. I really hate seeing the characters in their current state. And then she drops the ending on me, and I'm looking forward to book 20. I'm excited to read book 20. I can't. It's in my pile. It's in the order that I'm going to read it in. I can't wait to get to it now. And it's like, how can you write an ending that's engaging like that? You're still obviously a talented writer. You still obviously have some things that make a book engaging. So why? I don't get it. That's the great mystery of Shield Hero. Will it ever get better? I don't know. I've read the back whatever of volume 20, and it seems interesting. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I honestly am. I think the concept. Well, I won't say it here, just in case you've read 19 and haven't read the synopsis of 20. I'm looking forward to seeing how it works. I think that there was a lot of very interesting things presented at the end of 19, and I think the little summary thing on the back of 20 was very interesting as well. I'm looking forward to 20, despite my best wishes. I can't hate Shield Hero. I think that's all I have to say. I think that's all I have to say. After 19 minutes, the Jazz are probably back playing again, so I gotta get back and watch them. Hopefully take the dub. But if you're this far in the video, obviously there's something you like. So make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment telling me how correct my opinions on Shield Hero are. I have no clue when this is going to go up, so I can't tell you what the next video is. Probably Chainsaw Man or One Piece, if I had to guess. I'm probably correct in that, because this is probably going off on a break week of one of those two. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you look forward to the next light novel review, which will be The Eminence in Shadow Volume 3, which I can guarantee you I'll read pretty fast. I've really been looking forward to getting back into The Eminence in Shadow since the animes have come. All right, I will see you all then. Bye-bye.